how can I trust you to sell my home when you can't even market yourself? You're going to market my property and you can't market yourself? People are going to Google it. These are people that are ready and willing and able to do business now. Get yourself a Google business profile, because it will help all three.
We know all real estate agents want to acquire clients consistently so that they can grow their business and income for that great lifestyle. This broadcast brings you the best and top people in the industry to support that quest. This is Dave Fanale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk-TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and Align, your premier real estate solution. And we're back. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. This is Friday, June 26th, 2026. We got two 26s in there. I love the number 26 for two reasons. Number one, it's the day my one daughter was born, and 26 equals 8, which is my favorite number. So it's great that we're in our 8th plus year here. So for years, real estate agents have been told they need more leads, or they've said that they need more leads. They need more followers. They need better ads. They need more video. They need more of everything. Well, you know what? That's not the real problem. The real problem, let me say this. What if the problem is that consumers simply can't find you? Or if you're doing great content, why can't they find it? My guest today believes that too many great agents are practically invisible. He's helped market the sale of more than $4 billion in real estate since 2018, generating over $100 million in commissions for his clients. And he's become one of the industry's leading voices on digital authority, local search, and market domination. He's the founder of Realty Forte, creator of the Real Estate Marketing Masterclass, the author of the provocatively titled, "You're Not Bond, Stop Fucking Acting Like a Secret Real Estate Agent." I can say that, it's my broadcast. Today, we're going to find out whether agents really have a lead problem or invisibility problem. Brian Spicciati, welcome to Real Estate Talk TGIF.
Thank you very much for having me, Dave.
I'm so excited today because, I have the problem, just like mostly everybody else does, is that that people that do content regularly, right, is that, we do really good content. I have a remote team member that helps me every day. What's great is he tells me what to do, when to do it. We've been working together a few years and we have a great relationship. And his name is Nelson Chua, and he's excellent. I just enjoy working with him, and we are working really hard to get noticed, to not be invisible. Talk to me about the premise of not being invisible, but how you got there in your journey through Realty Forte.
So you always have to think about it from the customer experience, right? You have to make sure that, yes, we want to go out and portray ourselves as the best, the top agent in the area, doing that through social media, whatnot. But you really have to think about, what is the customer journey? What are they doing to get to that point to become a lead to your CRM, right? So people don't realize that 93% of searches for a real estate, they begin online, right? And right, so even if it's housing, they're looking for a website, whatever it may be. That's what they're going through. They're going through online searching, right? So when it comes down to it, is you have to go where the customer is. That's pretty much how all marketing is nowadays. It's not like from the days of Mad Men when we're throwing up a TV ad and a newspaper ad, right? Because those are only two verticals.
Right.
There's so many different verticals. But the one consistent one that is used, that is specifically for the high intent, is Google and AI searches. Because what happens is people are going to Google. Just think about it this way: you need a plumber. You just moved, right, recently. Maybe you needed a mover. You need any type of specialist to do something during that process. You go to Google and you do a search, right? You don't go to a social media channel like a Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn and look for a provider. You don't do that. Right? Yes, the social channels help you build brand awareness. Helps you stay present, and it gives you like an omni-channel presence. But all the people that are looking to do a transaction or looking to conduct business are going straight to Google and typing in those high intent keywords. And that's what you have to show up for. That's what's going to help you get the lead that doesn't need to be cultivated for 6 to 9 to 12 months. These are people that are ready and willing and able to do business now. That's where you go.
So hasn't this always been the problem? I mean, okay, so we used to use, and I was really, really good at it and back in the day when it first started, Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I know people aren't going. Here's the one thing I always said, right? Is no one's waking up in the morning and going to Facebook to find a house. Just like no one's going to Facebook or Instagram to find a real estate agent.
No.
Right? You're not going to go and type in real estate agent. Well, some might, but that's probably 1 to 5%. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So presence is an important thing, right? They would remember, and does the ad support that, or was Google and AI support that? Tell me how that can all intertwine.
So it's basically omni-channel presence, right? One, you're building up your brand awareness through social media. You're showing your level of expertise there, right? Also, like you're coming up with the content that's really specific to a buyer or a seller, right? Because you want to educate. That's what you want to do. It's not about, hey, look what I just closed this month. You know,
that's what we see a lot of.
That's all you see.
Changing. It is changing, but not
enough. So you got to think of it like, just think away the way people are running searches now, right?
Right.
They're asking questions in their search terms. It's not keywords anymore. It's actually they're typing in questions into the Google search, into ChatGPT. So when you start creating content built around those Q&As, you're going to start showing up now more in AI search results and in Google search results in Gemini. Because that's when you answer that question, what happens is just an LLM like ChatGPT, what they're doing is just they're getting the question that comes in and in like supersonic speed are going out to many different like Google and Bing and other search engines and pulling in the most relevant data and presenting it. Right? Based off of geolocation and the question and the answers. So that's where that information is coming from. So you have to create the content based around the questions that your customers are asking. So you have to think of
Brian,
it.
One of the great things about this broadcast is that I have people on more than once. And you were on about a year and a half ago, episode 346, right?
Yeah.
And how much has changed in that short time?
So it's like a loaded question, right? Because
it is.
A lot has changed, but the fundamentals still remain the same, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like even Google is saying it on a daily basis, like AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it, it's still the same like foundation as SEO, right? Because even though you're asking questions, you just have to rank. Now, for these questions, you have to rank for the generative engine optimization, right? So that's why it's like it's still the same premise, but it's just shifted a little bit. The foundation remains the same. It's just the tactics are changing.
One of the things you said is really maybe start thinking was that people aren't going in and putting in real estate agent in Bergen County, New Jersey, real estate homes for sale in, they still might be doing that a little bit, right? Homes for sale in, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing that. But what you said was that they're asking questions.
Yeah.
Right. And forever, coaches such as myself and others have always said to the real estate agent when talking about scripts is look at the scripts that we've used for 40, 50 years. The Mike Ferry scripts, which are still good, but they need to be repositioned in our heads. Yeah. They need to be repositioned in our speech. And what I mean by that is they need to be turned into really better questions than where are you moving to? Those kinds of things. What are you going to do if it doesn't sell? I mean, these are the same questions we've asked over and over and over again. Questions are probably the biggest part of any type of conversations because we should not be looking directly for the information. We should be asking questions that we get the information that they want to give to us to build a relationship. What does Realty Forte, how are you approaching that aspect?
The aspect of the Q&A, you're saying?
The Q&A and getting the information out there for the content for the agent.
So what we're doing is we're utilizing AI for it to come up with that content. So we're utilizing AI to research the top questions asked by consumers for those terms, right? And then we create Q&A content based off of those questions. We answer it, and then we put in hyper local terms like the 3 most specific areas that an agent wants to work in, right? So we put that into the Q&A as well. We put specific keywords into that answer as well. So it's being pulled. So what happens is we have a tool called ARIA, right? It's called our Advanced Ranking and Intelligence Assistant. And we plug it into everybody all of our clients' GBPs, right? Their Google Business Profiles. And it helps manage their Google Business Profiles along with us. So what it does is it creates schema markup, right? And that schema markup, basically we take it and we put it into the header of each one of our agents' websites. And what a schema markup is, basically, in layman's terms, is just a snippet of code that actually tells Google LLMs and other bots that crawl the site quickly what exactly is on the site so they can return it faster in the search. Right?
Okay, great. So this all makes complete and total sense. And from my standpoint of working, I work with a lot of elite agents and they do get it, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't want to deal with that shit. They want to hire someone like you to do this work. So with all this said, right, there's several really important questions that I want to ask you and see if we can get a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So right now, Brian, there are so many people out there. If you're an agent and you're trying to get help with lead generation, or you're trying to get leads, or you're trying to do all this stuff, the moment you open up Facebook or Instagram, you're getting bombarded with people that want to be in your freaking pockets, right? Yeah. So thinking about having that in mind, and if the problem is sometimes I'm always looking for that stuff. So I know this because it's happening to me, because I always want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. You know, I never take an appointment though. Okay, so but but you know that's not true. What's the biggest lie real estate agents are told about lead generation in these ads?
Oof.
Is there a lie? Is there a lie, or is it just that the stuff does work? But I mean, obviously, look, these people are doing this work. They have a product to sell, and it must have worked, right? Mm-hmm. Why are there so many people out there with so many different things?
So I would suggest, like, looking at it in a retrospect as an agent, I say, hey, what do I need? What do I need to accomplish? Right. Well, when we have people come on through our, our goals method, which is our lead gen program, we always ask them, like, okay, first they have to qualify for the program. So we ask them, how many deals did you do in the last 12 months? Right. And then we ask them, like, where are you looking to go in the next 6 to 12 months? What are you looking to take that number to? Right. And then we'll turn around and we'll also see if you're daydreaming. Like, so they did 12 deals. I want to get to 35 in the next 12 months. Okay. What's your plan to get there? Oh, I'm going to conduct my business the same way. No, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Really, because now you're looking to triple your business and maintain doing the same thing, or not invest in growing that business. So one, you have to really get your head out of the sand and really understand and set a plan. Right? Because if you don't have a plan, you said, I did business like this the last 12 months. Let's do it the same way for the next 12 months, and maybe we'll get to that 30 deals from 12. How is that going to work? You know, it's not. You have to set a strategy that actually will get you there. So, that's what, you really have to know or actually speak to somebody that really knows the industry. That's one thing. Make sure you are partnering with somebody that's real estate specific as an agency, right? Somebody that has video testimonials, right? Case studies, of it proven that it has worked. Okay. That they have a system in place that basically will take you to where you want to get. But also they have to be able to tell you the truth and tell you like, hey, you want to get from 12 to 30. I can't take you there that much. That's a huge jump to triple your business unless you're really looking to invest a lot of money on ad spend. And that ad spend has to go to an area where, or a vertical that is not really a cultivation vertical, right? So something like a social media is more of a cultivation, because say you get a lead that comes in, that's a 6, 9, 12 month runway on that lead. Right? Unless you just caught that person at the right time and they're like, oh, you know what? I am ready to make, I'm ready to sell my home. Right?
Exactly.
So you have to make sure you're going to a vertical that has really high intent. So that high intent is when somebody's actually looking to do a deal ASAP, they're like, okay, I'm ready to make my deal. Let's say best listing agent near me. That's a high intent lead. That's a high intent search, because now they're looking to find an agent that can sell their home, right? And when they find the person and they speak to that person that they like, usually I think it's 73% of people that are found on Google and from the GBP are called within the next 24 hours of them being found.
So everybody know that GBP means Google Business Profile. So everybody knows what we're talking about here. All right. So by the way, if anyone wants to go from 12 to 30 deals with Brian's help and my systems and processes, I can get you there without problem. I'm working with an agent right now who is who over the last couple of years went from that 12 to 60. And our issue right now is how do we get that number doubled? So we're working with that now, and time is an issue, and being able to sequence into things you don't want to do away from and to do this. Now, most people, a lot of agents want to do some of this stuff themselves. And I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend of mine who is works with a different company, and he's trying to build what he calls, it's going to be my own private Zillow, where I have all the information and everything else. And he's a great guy, and he really knows what he's doing. And my question to him is, why would you want to reinvent the wheel when someone already has that done for you? And I'm not talking about Zillow, that can set that up for you. Why would you want to reinvent the wheel? The answer is because it's going to be mine. It's going to be something that I did. And Brian, let's be honest. I mean, that's going to take a lot of work to maintain and to update and to upgrade.
Yeah.
And a lot of money.
A lot of
money too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so you're talking about what Zillow does is they spend millions and millions of dollars a month just in local SEO to get to that top 3 spot. You know what you're going to have to do to win just that organic game first off, right? So that's like what you have to do to go against the realtors, the homes, the Zillows. You have to win the game that they can't play, right? So you have to basically win the game. Like they can't, the sandbox that you have to play in is your local search of Google Business Profile, Google Maps, and LSA. They can't go there. So now all you have to do is beat your competitive agents. That's it.
So let me ask you this question. I mean, it's really specific. So we're talking about niche here. So is the location and geography extremely important, or is it just part of the deal?
In compares to
in
what?
search, in your content, in how you specifically want to target. Like, all right, I'll give you. Let me be clear with the example. So I live in a place called Bergen County, which has 70 towns in it. And south to north, the average price is probably going to go from 400 to, let's say, all the way up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million.
Yep.
Right. So if we cut the county in half, there's southern Bergen County and northern Bergen County, but there's specific towns. Is Bergen County the search? Is Bergen County the geography? Or is it individual towns that you want to be in?
I go for towns. I get granular and I go for towns on when we target, right? So if we're talking, say, Bergen County, are we talking Closter? We're going to all these different towns. We're going to try and really target for it, right? But a Google business profile right now will take you about a 20-mile radius from your office location that you're set up at, right? Now, if you look at LSA, that's local service ads, that's part of a paid lead gen program. We can go further out on that one. But you know how New Jersey is, and sometimes traffic can be crazy. You don't want to be driving an hour and a half to an appointment, right? So you want to make sure you build a proper radius that you say, hey, I know I want to do business in these towns. Let's just focus on those. Right. So yeah, radius is important, especially for the terms. To go and win Bergen County as a new agent, damn near impossible. Especially if you'll be going up against a couple of my agents that we run, so you're not winning. As a new agent, you're not going to win that unless you have the money to invest, right? Organically, but you can do it on LSA, right? And when you're going in, say you're targeting your local service ads account, you can go granular, you can go towns, you can go zip codes, you can even go by county wise. I suggest always going by town.
Okay. All right. So let's, I did have a question. Hold on one second. So would you say that what we're talking about, that when agents want to be in a big area, they're hurting themselves, like say the county rather than a couple of towns? Local service area is important. So if I'm putting my content out there, you mentioned the town of Closter, which is in northern Bergen County, New Jersey. If I'm using Closter and Closter is in my ads and I'm using that name, I'm using that word, I'm using it in my content, doesn't that hurt me for the other towns in that radius, or does it support it?
No, it's only gonna support it where it's like, hey, you might now, after doing a lot of work in that Closter area and using that word and in that content, you're gonna start showing up for more of the searches in Closter, right? That are really granulated for that. It's not gonna hurt you for the other areas, absolutely not.
Okay, so let's talk about everything we've talked about. You've got several things and several programs you work on, and you mentioned goals. Okay. Yeah. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what you do in that program to get a feeling for everything you talked about goes into a process. Talk to me about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, goals was built out as an acronym, right? So and it stands for, it's GOALS, where we go through and we do a Google foundational audit first off, right? So I'll back it up a little bit. This is like a 5-step method that we have, that we utilize, and basically it's to help real estates rank higher, get better leads and grow their sales volume so they can stop chasing business, right? That's why we created this program. And like I said, it is an acronym that we built because we have been testing this since 2021. We've been like elbows deep in it. We know everything about these programs, and we spend so much time working on these specific platforms. So we have our roadmap already mapped out. We know exactly what we have to do to get the agent the results that they're looking for. We know how to do our local search dominance. We know how to build the profiles to make sure that they generate the leads. We help them with the organic and paid lead gen strategy, right? So it's multitude of different strategies that we deploy in one system. So like I said, it's a Google foundational audit. And then we go over to the optimization and targeting strategy. And then we apply AI and lead capture tools, right? After that, that's when we launch our lead gen program, okay? And then from there on, it's strengthening and supporting the profiles, right? So basically that we're going to go in, we're going to test, we're going to evaluate, and we're going to see what's working, where the lead's coming from. Maybe we have to expand. Maybe we have to come in a little bit closer, pull it in a little tighter. But that whole thing, that whole goals method, like I said, it's GOALS. So Google Foundational Audit, optimization and targeting, apply AI and lead capture tools, Then we launched the lead gen program, and then a strengthen and support. That's what has worked for 90% of our agents to see a 10x ROI on that program.
A 10x ROI in that program is in what time frame?
We've had crazy numbers that have happened in 2 months. We recently had one that was so crazy in 45 days that we generated $81,000 in commissions in 45 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And that's from an agent in New Jersey in Union County.
Okay. So New Jersey, if no one knows this and are watching this either live or later on, you have to understand that this is a difficult area for marketing, real estate marketing, to really take hold and to work. So when you see those kind of results, understand that this shit really works. Okay. So let's start with the Google issue, the Google optimization that we're looking at that you mentioned, which is G in goals. Talk to me about that, what you're doing and how that works.
So we're going to run like an audit, basically, of your whole online presence, right? We're going to update all your major real estate directories. We're going to ensure that you're Google verified and make sure that we're going to touch upon your social channels as well. We're going to make sure everything's consistent, especially NAP. So a lot of people don't understand what NAP is, name, address, phone number. Make sure all of that is identical across all of your platforms, right? Then we even go into touching some platforms, like we'll go and say, hey, give me access to your Zillow, to your homes.com, your realtor. We're going to go in there and we're going to optimize that as well. All right. And then we're going to have you create 2 other accounts, a Fast Expert account and a HomeLight account. And then we get that once you give me the credentials, we go and fully optimize that, because that's also going to help you for AI search. So when people start doing searches on ChatGPT, people don't realize Fast Expert and HomeLight are actually ranked pretty high, and the AI pulls from those engines for profile wise. So the more fleshed out those profiles are, the more information you're able to give these LLMs and search bots.
So this Google business profile, this build and optimization, which we have showing on the screen here, that's what this is. This is building out the GBP, so to speak.
So your Google business profile, hands down, for any real estate agent, mortgage broker, lender, any business owner, is the most important tool now. It's been one of the most important tools, and it's just going to get even more important, because now Google's building more products built around it. So now you can actually take your Google business profile. Just recently, you're able to add it to your Google Analytics account. And now Google Analytics is going to be pulling in all of the information from your Google business profile and provide more in-depth reporting, right? They just actually connected it with Gemini. They just launched it yesterday, June 26th, where you can actually connect your Google business profile to your Gemini account. And now Gemini is going to be able to help you and tell you, like, hey, you can ask it like prompt questions, and it'll actually give you advice on it and tell you, hey, this is where you're strong, this is where you're weak. So if anybody, if there's anything you take away from this, get yourself a Google business profile, because I've been screaming this for 4 years to real estate agents, and there's people that still don't have it. I just don't understand why. It's like, do you not care about yourself? Do you not care about your business? Do you not care about your clients? Because it will help all three.
So, all right. So we've got you've been so kind as to give us a coupon, so to speak, with a coupon code for your Google business profile. And that's exactly what we're talking about, right? You're going to build it. You're going to optimize it. You're going to do everything that you just said for that. Is that correct? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could, even if you want, I don't know if there's a chat feature, I could send you over the exact link it would go to. I think I might have sent it before. But yeah, we could send that over to you in the chat. That's the link, that the page you would go to, and you would get the discount. On that
is that with the QR code here too?
I don't know. I didn't scan that QR code.
All right. Well, we'll check on that. So you sent us the link, right?
Yeah. I just put it in the chat as well.
Okay. So Nelson will take that and put that on the screen later as we move forward. Okay. So we talked about goals, and you got a couple other things that you're working on. We talked about goals, talking about the Google Business Profile, and the ARIA product, which is in goals, right? Is that in goals?
Yeah.
The ARIA product?
Yeah, ARIA, if you were to just take on our self-managed ARIA product, which is our AI marketing assistant, right? We call it like ARIA because it's Advanced Ranking and Intelligence Assistant. It will actually run your GDP for you, right? That would be the first stage of the program. That's our lowest barrier of entry, right?
Okay.
The next level would be our local search dominance, where we're actually taking it over, running the ARIA product, running your Google Business Profile optimization, and a few other things that we do. And then you would graduate from, say, your local search dominance program up to the goals method. That's where the paid lead strategy comes into play as well.
Okay, so we're getting noticed, and we're building our database with people that are coming to see us. What about how is what we're doing here, what we're talking about here, improving our relationships? Like, okay, so you can have an agent that's got great content, got a good Google Business Profile, but they're not really building relationships. Is this system going to help us build that relationship, or get more conversations for us, which would build the relationship? Is that going to help?
So what it is going to build trust. Relationships are built through one-on-one interaction, right?
Right.
But you got to build trust first. And yes, this product helps build that trust because of the testimonials, right? Part of that, we do a reputation management campaign within those programs, right? So we also have AI review response system that's connected in. So you don't even have to respond to your reviews. The AI will write and respond to the review for you within 24 hours because Google looks at that. Testimonials with keywords in it and areas and targeted areas in them are the strongest type of ranking factor that you could have on the GDP. So don't get your reviews on Zillow. Put them on your Google Business Profile. They have much more weight and much more strength.
So we've got a lot of agents looking for help. There's a lot of people, and anybody that's watching this now or watch it later, I can't apologize for my next comment. People are actually stuck or lost in what's going on in the market. Like there's over 70% of agents that didn't do a deal in 2024, 2025. And it has a lot to do with, we're frozen with, the rates. We're frozen with inventory. I mean, this is pockets, right? Where there isn't that problem.
But
we don't have what's that?
I don't buy that. I don't buy it all because we have our agents in so many different markets that are killing it. One of my agents, I'll tell you this, in 2025, she did her most amount of business that she's ever done in her entire career. She did 100 deals. 100 deals. 30 of them were from us directly in that year. Okay? So I don't find that, like, if you're not doing what it takes to win the business, like really treating your business as your real estate business as a business, that's what so many agents do not do.
Okay. So Brian, look, we've got agents that really want to excel, and they're basically they're in their own way. Let's put it that way, right?
Yep.
And they'll call you, they'll call other people. They have these freaking discovery calls. I hate them, by the way. They have these calls, and they're having conversations, and either they make a decision or they don't make a decision. What are these agents that want to do something that are not? What are they wasting their money on? What is the misnomer? What is the thing out there that they should be aware of? Is there anything out there, or as I started this conversation today, is everything work?
No, not everything works. They're spending, I guess you would say, shiny object syndrome. That's one of them.
Oh yeah,
right. Two, vanity. I'm gonna curse right now. I'm gonna say vanity bullshit. A lot of them, mismanaged their money. They spent it on stupid things. Like, do you really need a Gucci belt to show houses? Come on.
No.
Right? So that's not what sells a house. That's not what brings in a lead. Like, invest in yourself, invest in your business, right? That's because if you can't invest in yourself, why is somebody going to trust you to invest like their most valuable possession, their home? You have to be able to do that, because like that's the one thing. Like, you think about this, we talk about people like agents, and I have this conversation with them all the time. It's like, if you look online and you are not visible, or you have your realtor profile says you work at KW, but now your Zillow profile says you're at Remax, and another profile says Weichert, like you
all the time,
right? So many times you see that. Like, how can I trust you to sell my home when you can't even market yourself? You're going to market my property and you can't market yourself? There's nobody that knows you better than yourself, and you can't keep that in line or in order. Come on.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's wrong with just saying, you know what, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to talk to people, and I'm not going to worry about social media, and I'm not going to worry about all this other stuff, because I'm me and I'm the one that's going to get the business, and I am my brand, and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And I'm not going to worry about SEO or AEO or EIO. That was a joke. I don't want to worry about all that crap. Should they?
Yeah. If you want to stay in the business, if you want to grow your business, yeah. Listen, there's a time and place for like networking and going out and relationship building. That should be part of your business, right? Same thing how it is with ours. Same thing how it is. It's like, you look at us, we're not going to go out and tell you to do something that we don't do. We do networking, right? We go out. We actually built the Tap That card basically around the networking problem, right? So you have that tool. Then we run our paid ads. We run our own GBPs, right? For that. GBPs brings us in a lot of business. Our last 4 clients that came in from AI. People that I never had a relationship with, that did searches, best real estate marketing companies for lead generation. We showed up, they called us, we won the deal.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's get into this thing that everybody wants to play with: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Oscar Bonavina, whatever. I mean, let's talk about this. Yeah. So one of the things that you have in goals is the AI piece, right?
Yeah.
So people are actually going to search on AI, and they're going to be able to say, call Dave, or for lead generation, they're going to say, call Brian.
Yeah. So I want
How
you
does
to
that work?
So this is how it works, right? So if we go to, say, like a tool like Gemini, which is an AI search feature, right? Somebody goes and types in, let's just say my industry for or you know what? Let's go with a real estate professional, right?
Awesome.
Best listing agents in the Northern Poconos, right? So what happens is they're going to go, ChatGPT, Gemini, they're going to go and do a search, and they're pulling that information is going to be based on a few different factors, right? One, they're going to make sure that you are a recognized entity, right? So what that means is that you have listings and directories that match all across the web that are identical, right? Then they're going to ask for, okay, how are their testimonials? Do they only have 4, or do they have 45, 50, 60 5-star reviews, right? They're going to look to see, okay, do they service the Northeast Poconos, right? See what comes up. Now, this is this AI going out and doing that search to find that trustworthy entity to return it back to you when you did that search. What happens after that is AI is going to bring you back a search. And what's going to be in that search is no more of the blue links that you used to see on Google. Like, oh, click on this, click here. No, it's actually bringing you back. The only links it's giving you to is to go to the Google business profile. Okay? So when you do that search, say in Gemini, they're not showing you the website. It's all part of the one-page search plan that Google has, where they want to keep everything on Google so they can bring it in. Okay, now that we just displayed Heather, Frank, Mike, Tom as the top 4 agents in that area, You click on that name, that link that shows, it takes you right to their Google business profile, right? So now from that point, you can actually call that person or visit their website, get driving directions, or even submit a chat, whichever way you want to do it. You'll have those options. So that's why, that's another important piece that the Google business profile is going to provide you, because they're not showing the website in AI searches. They're showing the Google business profile.
So everything's got to be in your Google business profile. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about this debate? If an agent only had 5 hours a week, should they spend it on Instagram or should they spend it on Google?
Only have 5 hours a week.
5 hours a week to work on this on the internet or social media. And that's what they've got. They're doing an hour a day, Monday to Friday. They're working on, they got to do their social media content. They got to post. They got to do all these things. What's more important? Making sure that your Google business profile, your Google stuff is up to date, or to continue to post, or is it both? Or is it important to send people certain places? What's the important part? Because people are getting upset with Instagram.
Omnichannel presence. That's what I would say. Right.
So the answer is everything.
So what happens is why can't you use the same piece of content across 4 different platforms?
I think it can.
Right. So you have different people that search, right? You have more people on, say, Instagram that are visual. Then you have the Facebook people, then you have LinkedIn people, and you have your Google business profile searchers, right? And Google Maps. That content can be evergreen on all platforms. So when you use a social media publishing tool, right, you can actually have them all connected. You create one post and it goes out to all of them. So you're staying relevant on that, right? So you spend an hour on creating 5 posts for the whole week. You schedule them in your social media publisher, right? There's 1 hour, right? Goes out. You post it every day, right? You post it to your GBP. You post it to your Instagram, your Facebook, LinkedIn, right? Went out. Then spend an hour calling your sphere of influence, right? Then you go in and maybe you call expireds for an hour. So right now it's like you took away. We had 5 hours, right? We're 3 hours, and we did how many different verticals of reach?
A lot.
You have to set it. You got a day part. So, you got to,
So in other words, you're saying is it doesn't take as much time as it used to.
Oh,
right. I would agree with that.
So our Aria product, the Aria will actually post for you. It'll create the content for you, right? So it'll actually you could actually have it feed from Google Business Profile to your Facebook and Instagram as well, right? The AI feature also can make videos for you and post it to YouTube if you have a YouTube channel. There's so many different things out there that will cut down times. Like, don't get so bogged down with learning AI. You have to make sure you use AI for what it is. It's a tool, right? So it can cut down the amount of work that you have to do, right? It could be an employee for you.
Right. So let me, there's so many people out there in my experience over the years where everyone believes a certain thing. Tell me, is there something that most agents will say to you or will give you their opinion on that is completely wrong?
Yeah.
That you hear all the time and you hold back from smacking them.
So we'll hear things like, "Oh yeah, I did lead generation before. That doesn't work." Okay.
Oh, sounds familiar.
That's what I'll hear. Okay. And I'll just sit there. Okay.
Okay.
That's why we don't take on everybody. We have specific people that we work with. You have to meet a certain criteria to work with us, because we want people that we know are going to maintain their response rate, that know how to handle leads, that possibly have done lead generation before. But our lead generation program is different. They're all inbound calls coming into you. Right. They're not like, hey, they filled out a form and we'll get back to them. And you got to put them in a drip sequence and hopefully you get in touch with them. Our program doesn't work like that. They're inbound direct calls that come to you.
So an agent comes to you
Mm-hmm.
and says, Brian, help me. I want to really grow my business. I've done a few deals, and I'm really, I really want to start making this the real thing, a real career. What are the steps you're going to take them through? And
First
what
thing,
should be their budget, by the way? Let's talk about that too, because we can sell as much as we want. If we don't know what the budget is, oh no, I can't do that.
no,
Talk to me about that.
you have to come up with your own budget, like what your constraints are.
Comfortable with,
I can't
right?
make your budget for you, because if you say, hey, what's the budget to do all this? I'm going to come, hey, you want to really make a really strong real estate business? This is what it's going to take, right? And then you're going to get hit with a price that is like sticker shock. So you have to be able, as an agent and as a business owner, know what you can spend on marketing. Then you find a professional, reliable, and trustworthy agency that will actually say, okay, this is your budget. Let's see if we can put something together for you. If we can't, I'm going to tell you, hey, listen, this isn't enough, but you know what I'll do is I'm going to give you a guide, a couple steps that you can do on your own right now to move the needle, right? So you have to
Out of everything we've talked about, what's the most important thing?
GBP.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, GBP. And then what you do is encompass is you turn around, you get your Google business profile up, right? You have a website. Your website doesn't even need to be crazy. If you're not with one of the franchises that give you a website or anything like that, just build an agent profile page with a little information for sellers and buyers with some lead forms on it. Okay? And the areas that you focus on. Nobody is going to MikeSellsNewJersey.com to search homes. Sorry.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're going to Zillow, Realtor, HomeFin, whatever. Those are the places they're going. Right? So you don't need to have a tremendous IDX website. It's not.
And you know what's funny is 20 years ago it was different, and now people are going to Zillow anyway. They're going to go to Realtor anyway. They're going to go to Redfin anyway. Look, I work with one of the most successful teams in the country, in the world, and for a lot of data, I'm going to Redfin. And just for me, it's just a simpler search. So if I'm doing that, that the consumer is, right? Yeah. So don't worry about exactly. I'm supporting exactly what you said. Is don't worry about having a search engine on a lead generator or that kind of thing. It's informational, correct?
Yeah. So you think about it this way: how many people use the KV Core conversion with Bold Trail website?
Bold Trail, right?
Right. How many people using it? You have what? EXP, Remax, and a few other franchises that are. You're talking hundreds of thousands of agents.
Yep.
So what are you doing that's going to decipher you from those 100,000+ agents on your website? Not much. So your website's not going to win that game. It's not going to win a search engine optimization game. Okay? So what you have to do is you have to win the off page, which is your Google business profile. That is what's going to help you win that local off page search. All right. So you go in, you make sure your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn is optimized. Make sure you have a fully optimized Zillow page, Realtor, Homes.com. These are all free to have. Just do it. Cost you nothing. And your Google business profile is free. Cost you nothing to have it. So that's 8-9 different verticals that are free that can actually do such a benefit to your online experience and presence.
So the really important thing is you need to decide two things, really important. Correct me if I'm wrong. Number one is what kind of business you want to do.
Yeah.
Number two, what your budget will be to grow that business. Now let's understand something. Mm-hmm. The same thing is required as it always was. Let's talk about sweat equity, and then as time goes on, check equity. Mm-hmm. What do I mean by that? You're going to have to do a lot of the legwork, a lot of the groundwork yourself to start because you don't have the money to spend, right? We talked about budget. We talked about money, But the important thing to understand is that you've got to work on the things that you can afford. Sweat equity is first, and then check equity is right after that.
Yeah. So it's like the same variation where you say like, hey, you might not have the resources, but you can be resourceful, right?
100%.
So you got to be resourceful especially when you're just getting out into the business. Any type of business, you have to be resourceful. Take what you can use to your advantage and multiply it.
All right, man. So what have I not brought up to talk about that you wanted to talk about or that we should talk about?
No, I mean, for us, like I honestly, like if you're an agent and you do not have a Google business profile, I'm not even telling you to hire us. Just get one. I think we have videos online that teach you how to build it. We have like a master class too that's online that if you really wanted to learn it, to do it. To me, honestly, don't learn it. You don't need to learn it. Just have it built. Find somebody that does them and does an excellent job at them. Get them built. And then you can manage it. So it's not like, hey, just get it up there and like forget it. No, manage it. Post to it. Get your testimonials to it. Update it with information. Create open house events. Put your listings on there. You can treat a GBP just like you can a Facebook and Instagram or whatnot. You can put photos, videos on there. Google wants that. Google actually needs it. So really, if you take away anything from this, go get yourself a GBP, optimize it, and manage it. You will see the benefits.
So we have the QR code and the coupon code on the screen. We also have the actual URL scrolling on the bottom, so you can copy that. Hey, Brian, there's a question I forgot to ask you in the very beginning, and I've been doing this a lot lately. I don't know why I keep forgetting it, but this is Real Estate Talk TGIF. What does TGIF stand for?
I think I know this one. Thank God it's Fanale.
There you go. That's easy. Hey, Brian, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast, being part of Real Estate Talk and Real Estate Skill Builder. I just want to ask you one question and one other thing. How do I help you grow your business?
Send us agents that are serious and need help and want help and are willing to do what they need to do to really grow their business. So it's like if you're watching this and you are serious about growing your business and you want to take that next step, contact us. We always give out a free consult so you can see what we have to offer you. We can learn more about your business, and if we can help you, we'll help you. If not, we'll give you some different assets that you can deploy yourself. You're not going to you'll never walk away empty-handed from us. We will always give you something.
Awesome. Hey, man, thank you so much. And of course, well, you have already received this hat. We have a new anniversary edition coming out. Yep. Could be out in the next couple of weeks, which I'll showcase on another broadcast. But the hat's coming to you. Hey, man, thank you so much. Next week, we have Tim O'Keefe. Now, I've known Tim O'Keefe for years. He helped me a lot with SEO, so to speak, Spider Juice Technologies. You want to talk more about search engine optimization and how to get noticed? We're going to take the next step next week with Tim O'Keefe, an old friend of mine. Thanks so much. We'll see you all next week. But before we go, we got to hit the video. Brian, thank you. Please stay on to the end.
You got it.
Here we go.